It's getting a little bit sunnier outside, so hopefully it makes it a little bit more dreamy in here. But now I want to go over Peperomia prostrata string of turtles. I know most plant people who are interested in plants know about these, and if you have some, you probably already know how to take care of them. But if you don't have any, or if you've killed a few, then this video hopefully will be a little bit helpful. Okay, so this, and I have an annoying amount of these. For some reason, not for some reason, I know why, but they propagate very easy in this greenhouse. I keep it pretty regulated in here, but even the ones that I've just had like sitting on my front porch, they thrived. So here is just one of my small hanging baskets. It was hanging up against one of the panels over here. That's why it's not growing over there very well, but it's pretty lush. It's pretty full at the top and still pretty full at the bottom. It's not like, you know, spacey and dangly except for the back. But in this video we're actually going to propagate a couple, and I'll show you, I'll do two different ways that I do it that have been successful. And hopefully if you ever want to propagate any of your turtles to just have more, or to give to your friends, or to sell them, or whatever you want to do with them. But few fun facts about turtles, prostrata, is, and a lot of people mistake them for succulents. So be careful with that. You can't treat these like a succulent. They're native to Brazil, Central America, very, very humid, very warm climates. They don't like to be watered very often. They like lots of humidity. They just bathe in humidity. Humidity is the key. That's all I'm going to say. Because these I haven't watered I haven't watered in a while, but sitting here in the humid greenhouse, they do very well. I think that I start to water them whenever I notice, I don't know if you haven't watched any of my videos before, I went over the difference between draping and hanging. So these are draping, but you can see that they still have some sort of, like, they're still curling up. They're still like holding their own weight. Right here, they're curling, like they can bear themselves. Whenever something's hanging, just like hanging, like a dead hanging limb, or a like just dead, is whenever I water them. And I just give them a good, like I water anything else, just a good super soak and then let them go. But I also have them in this greenhouse. The turtles that I have kept inside, like in my bathroom or in a windowsill, watering them was dangerous. I've killed a few turtles before I realized like what exactly I had to do. So turtles also, they like humidity, but they don't want their foliage. They don't want these. They're little turtles. They don't really like those to get wet. If you feel them, they're like fleshy. They're fleshy and really absorbent. So the more they're wet on the outside, the more that they'll retain all that water, and then they'll rupture, or they just turn black and get mushy. And nobody wants that. So if you keep them inside, I suggest keeping them in the bathroom. If you have a smaller bathroom where it can stay warm, If you have a larger bathroom and it tends to get like cold, like if you have a gymnasium shower or whatever, I would maybe keep it like nestled in a corner. Or if you have windows in your bathroom, keep it in a window, just as long as it's double paned and it's not stark direct sunlight for 9 hours out of the day, then it'll be okay. But yeah, that is my trick for turtles and how I keep them alive. I don't treat them like succulents. I don't water them very often, but I make sure that they're not getting like misted and doused in water all the time, and they're not also like staying in just a really dry spot. Just general, like, you know, humidity in the air. And I know that's so easy for me to say because I'm in Florida, but I know that there are places that like we keep dehumidifiers in my house, and they've done fine. They really have done fine in my house after I realized that I can't water them inside. They retain too much water to water them inside because there's not enough heat pulling the water back out. So, with that being said, a lot of people that I've known ask me, how the hell do I propagate them, and how do I propagate them so easily and quickly? Well, again, don't water them. Just leave them alone. Let them do their thing. Just don't smother them. Turtles don't like to be smothered. They're very independent plants. So, without further ado, anytime I cut off of a plant, I always think of Brad Mondo videos, where it's like right before they cut, they're like, I'm sorry, Brad Mondo. I'm sorry, Brad Mondo. Okay, let's find a good one. Don't cut off any that are sprouting like that. Where'd it go? Right there. See that sprout? Don't do that. Don't do that one. It's got a lot of hormones in it at the time. It's producing a lot of hormones to reproduce itself. So I wouldn't suggest those to cut off of the ones that have those. Just because hormones have a lot to do with like regrowth and what have you. So reproductive wise, I would stay away from that one. And I don't know the specifics behind that, but I do know that I have avoided those and I've been really successful with propagating. So, I'm sorry, Brad Mondo, but here we go. I'm going to take off of the top a little bit, some of these fatter ones. And I just took a little itty bitty one. Like that. That big. You can see it. That big. Okay. And then, with my little cup of dirt, just like that, I just kind of place it in there. Sort of like mush it down a little bit. You don't want to cover up the turtles with dirt. They don't like that. They don't like that at all. But you do want the vine, its little vine, to be in there. Just place it on top. That's all you gotta do. Just place it on top. We'll do another one just to fill it up. Maybe a little bit longer one. Maybe. Let's cut from, this is the longest one. Dang it. Whatever. It'll grow back. I have 1,000 of them. I do that too. I'm like, I have like 5 or 6 of one plant, and then I go to like propagate it for someone, or if I want to sell some of it, or if people have been asking me for it, like on my website, and I go to chop it up, and I'm like, like, dumb bitch, you have so many. Oh, God. Alright, and then just again, we're just gonna lay it on top. Whenever you're propagating turtles, I see people like try to do what they do with string of hearts, and they like have one draping out of it, and I'm like, it's gonna shrivel up and die. Don't do that. Like, you gotta, like, you're relying on the vine to make the roots and to like, to root into the dirt, into the soil, so that more can grow. How can it do that? Like, you're relying on a small fraction of it that you've put into the dirt to make it happen, which isn't gonna work most of the time. I say that, there's probably like people out there being like, I do that all the time. Well, whatever. It hasn't worked for me. So, yeah, I just lay them on there. That's what I do. That's all I do. And I've been really successful that way. Now the other way is, and I've done this with dead ones as well. It you can do it either way, but if you want like fresh ones, I go through and I pluck off. But pluck off to the point where you get a little bit, can you see it? Where you get a little teeny bit of the vine, you know, a little shaft right there. Okay. Then you take that and you basically like wedge that little butt into, massive piece of bark. Okay. You wedge that little butt into the soil. And hold on, I need a chopstick. If anyone who's ever played with plants, they know that chopsticks are handy. This isn't actually a chopstick. This is like a piece of craft stick. They're like 15 cents. You don't gotta go like blowing a whole bunch of money. And that's another thing. Tools and stuff add up. They add up fast. They're like ridiculous. Like, I don't mess around with trying to, like, I feel like I used to want the best of everything, and I wanted everything, and it's like, you know, the best doesn't always help your plants grow. The best doesn't always get you your money back in return. Like if you want to sell your plants or whatever. Let's take some from the top, little ones. Yeah, some nice thick beefy ones that can handle it. Now I'm just shoving the butts of these into the dirt and, like, you know, pushing the soil back around them. And so it'll be like this little turtle. Little turtle. They look like tombstones, like little graveyard turtle heads. You can see them. Oops. Right there, there, and there. And then I'll fill up. I'll go and I'll fill up the entire thing of them like that, and give it a little while. Whenever I do them like this though, I get a water bottle, turn it on first. No, I want to spray. I don't want to stream. There we go. And just little spritz, little spritty spritz. And yeah, I mean, that's about it. And that's what I do, and I've been annoyingly successful with those two methods. I mean, there's not much to it. Don't overthink it. Don't like try to, you know, make it more than it is, make it harder than it is. But yeah, pretty simple. Also, you got to keep these in a nice cozy spot place that you're not going to forget about them. Since these are propagating though, and these are a terrarium plant, you do have to keep them fairly moist. I wouldn't water them, because whenever you water things, you disrupt the soil. And since you don't want the soil to pull down away from any roots that it's trying to develop, so I would just use my spray bottle and spritz, a couple times a week. Nothing crazy. Don't do it every day. Otherwise, you're just going to have another bowl of mush. I don't know if I said keep them in a warm place, but keep them in a warm place. And also, if you don't keep them in a warm place, I'm going to show you something that's a little embarrassing. But we had a cold snap a couple weeks ago, and I had a bucket of turtles out on my front porch that I unfortunately forgot about. And this is what happens to your turtles whenever you forget them outside and it's cold. Yeah, they all fell off. It was gross. And they're still, literally, as I'm holding it, they're still falling off. I'm hoping that if I can just take care of it as it is right now, and that it'll pop back up in the summer. But if not, like I said, they grow pretty easy. So yeah, and that's gonna be it on my string of turtles segment. Peperomia prostrata, genus Peperomia, scientific name scientific family is the Peperomia, however you want to say it. They're from Brazil, Central America. Don't like to be watered, but they do love humidity. So just always remember that. Okay? Alrighty. Thank you guys, and I'll see you soon.